Evening, guys. Welcome to BPC's Hangout in the Crib. As
Evening,
you can
guys.
see, we've got Larry, the BP prof, and Invisible Stephen with us tonight, and myself, Earth.
Hi guys.
So, obviously, we're going to be talking a lot about Revenge Raid 3 tonight. Some bits and pieces about some of the armour retrofits and some other stuff that's been going on in the game. So, thank you for everybody who's come out and chat. Always nice to see you all there. So yeah, I think we'll just sort of move on through it and we'll go for it. I think. Are you ready, Larry?
I'm ready.
You was born ready, mate, weren't you?
You all right there? You're not tearing up, are you?
No, I'm trying not to.
Okay, I heard some sniffling. All right. Well, we can start. We're gonna talk about the new stuff in yesterday's release, and then talk about Revenge Raid 3 coming up. So first, bug fixes and changes. I squished it all into one slide because there wasn't a whole lot of either. The only bug fix was they claimed to have fixed some sort of issue where you could load into your base view while you were under attack by selecting the Forsaken Arena button. I don't know if that's something you really want to do, but you can't do it anymore. So that's fixed. The glacial pace of build time reductions continues. They took a few weapons and reduced their build times. I think these are maybe a little more useful than the last round of reductions. The arbalest got cut in half, and I'll talk about the utility of the arbalest in a few slides. Scrambler cannon I don't like too much. That got cut though. Siege missile Z got cut almost in half, and that's still a pretty useful weapon, so that's cool. The Achilles missile got cut by quite a bit, and now its build time I think is about appropriate for its utility. Yeah. And then the assault disruptor, the DR cannon, also got cut a lot, and that's a really nice weapon, and especially timely coming up with these new railguns coming out. So again, maybe I'll talk about that in a few slides too.
Yeah, I have to agree that with that, the assault disruptor is a really nice weapon to have on there, especially for like slowing down stuff and fast-moving targets and stuff like that. And I think the Achilles, it's long overdue that's should be brought down, really, to be honest. You know, with its bypass on there, it's quite a good weapon to have if you haven't got any of the Harriers and the disruptors and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of the reason why a lot of people haven't used them in the past has been that ridiculous 2 days, 5 hours build time on them. So
Yep.
I'm very glad that they've brought it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other change is that Scourge and Reaver armor got its own retrofit class. And the retrofits of those armors will give you an increased repair time reduction. Now, I'm not 100% sure on how this works, but I think these stat increases are sort of a percentage change on the percentage repair reduction that armor already has. So Scourge armor affects your cadmium, and so I think it starts off with that 50% repair reduction, and then these modifiers, stat increases per level, I just copied these off the forums in case you can't tell. I think those are percentage changes to that 50%. So like at R15, you'll probably be somewhere around a 62% repair reduction on the cadmium. And then the Reaver armor also is a repair reduction, and that's just Reaver bulkhead, which I don't remember whether that got a 20% or a 40% reduction. Do you remember, Steve?
I'm not
I want
sure
to
off
say
the top of
20.
my head.
20? I'm
I
pretty
think
sure it's 20.
I think it's one of the ones they gave us a bit of a helping hand on, but because of the power of it, it was only 20%, if I remember correctly. I'm sure chat will tell me when I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah. So that one seems a little less useful, you know? I mean, 24% modifier on 20%, even at R15, spending all that uranium, it's going to go from a 20% reduction to about a little under 25%. So that doesn't seem too worth it. At least they didn't keep the same uranium multipliers, but
No, it's good though. Still, any repair time offers good, however little it is.
yeah, I mean, the cadmium seems like it might be worth it. I actually started R1 on that this morning because I've got Harlock Aegis using some cadmium now. But I don't see it for bulkhead. I don't know.
Do you think it's the biggest priority for if you're using bulkhead? Do you think there's anything else you should be researching ahead of that?
Well, no, but I mean, there's a lot of people that are probably in the similar boat to me, where have got quite a lot of the useful retros done, and you know, just adding to that repair reduction is probably going to be quite beneficial because I've got a lot of stuff that's got bulkhead on it, which is, you know, because bulkhead in itself bumps up repair time so high, so you know it is quite beneficial to me in a way. So I mean, it's more of a, you know, end game sort of retro, really.
Yeah,
Honest,
yeah. All these 50K retros are in that class. Yeah. I'm still doing some turrets, but I figure I'll kind of swap back and forth. All right, let's move on from this into the Revenge Raid 3. Kixeye did post the briefing and prize list, so I included that link. This structure is just about the same as the last two. You've got the A, B, and C sets. You complete a set to earn a bonus. You've got payload ships that are going to flee, and those just are gone after the first hit. All the targets are solo. You can help other players by prepping targets for them, so you get the points, they get the bonus. And don't forget to use your locator to find those targets. One change is that there's going to be a mega hull boss for all three sets, is what Kixeye said. Last time you had a Scourge boss on B and C sets. So that's the mega hulls. And the mega hulls are co-op.
I want one for my base.
You want a mega hull defending your base?
Yes.
Okay.
Just putting it out there.
2 months repair time.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah. Alright. 4-day raid, 2 spawn opportunities for Vanguards, and again, they are going to start giving event points just like last time. So I'll talk more about a few of these targets. They showed this picture of the mega hull, and I don't know if this is one of the S-level targets that they also said. There's going to be a new target on the map, this S-level, which is like an elite target. So it should just be one difficult engagement for a lot of points, and it's also a mega hull. So they're talking about these, you got more support ships. For those of you that were familiar with the mega hull and the A sets, last time those had 2 groups of 3 ships. I think it was it 2 Kodiaks and an interceptor, I think, on each side, and then the mega hull.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget whether it was 2 interceptors and a Kodiak or the other, vice versa. But anyway, you can see here there's a few more ships, and then they have these defense platforms with turrets. And now they say there's going to be power structures on the defense platforms. And destroying the power structures means that you will reduce the fire rate of the mega hull. So last time that hull didn't start firing at you until you were pretty much within weapons range. I'm wondering if this time we're going to see it firing at you from much further out.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sort of thinking that that might be the case as well.
Yeah. So watch out for that. I was working on a blog article, and in there I give a little more talk about how I did these last time. You know, I felt it was a really good idea to take out all the supporting stuff before trying to engage that hull, and then I didn't find it too difficult. But I think rushing in would probably cause you a lot of damage. Just guessing. Yep.
Yeah, I think trying to attack that headlong is going to be a suicide mission. I wouldn't try it right away with your best fleet and then come complain about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was able to prep out the Kodiaks with subs, and then tease out the other two ships, and then engage the Mega, and it wasn't too bad. But
To be
we'll see
honest,
how
I
these.
think last time I was one-shotting them with rhinos with an Aegis with gales on, and if you done it in a set way, you could sort of sweep in, take all of the fleet out for like minimal damage, and then with the gales on there, if you hit the actual hull itself from a certain angle, your gales would concentrate UAVs rather than the mortars, so you could take it out for sort of like about 10 minutes damage, which was quite good. But we'll have to see
Yeah.
what comes of it this time. You know, if I can figure out a way which is fairly easy to do with like fairly available tech, then I'll post a video of how to do it. But you know, nobody's going to really know until we can start hitting them really.
Yeah. 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 I used rhinos, and I have a Neptune with some gales on it, so I brought that along, and yeah, it wasn't too bad. I don't think I was down at 10 minutes, but I think I was under half an hour. So yeah. All right. That's about what we know about the Mega Hull. Vanguard, pretty much the same as last time. There started to be some videos coming out last time about players doing it all with tigers, except for I guess there's two daggerfish that come after you right away. But if you can get a buddy to take those out, they were doing the rest with subs for no damage. So that might be something to think about if you've built some good tiger sharks.
Yeah, you know, with all of the scourge targets, you know, tiger sharks work really well, especially with the what's it called, the sonar and the retargeting,
Sonic targeting.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah.
Because that boosts your sonar range quite good. So yeah, they work really good with that. I'm actually quite interested to see how well Drat carriers are going to do in these with like a frosty lead on. Because you get that big group that's in the middle, don't you? So I reckon that, you know, with the chaining on those and the splash damage, I reckon it's going to go down pretty quick in the middle.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see. And again, like I said, if I find some good ways of doing it, then I'll post some videos up on the BPC page. But I think that that's going to work pretty nicely. I think, judging on how mine actually work, I would have thought that they would work fairly good, but it really depends on sort of how much explosive defense they've got, really, I think.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Scourge, their big, the thing that made them so damn hard to kill was their plate reduction, right? They had deflection, essentially deflection, before we did. So I would think that the Drac UAVs with their big burst of damage would do pretty well. But yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see. I started getting good at Vanguard's last raid, and I found it was just careful driving. I kind of went back and forth along the bottom, and just kind of tried to make sure to engage everybody at max range. Those goblin sharks, you can stay out of range of their ballistics if you're really careful on your missile range. If you've got 98 range missiles. And so I was, if I was driving carefully and able to do that and not take on a whole bunch of them at once, I was able to really cut my damage doing Vanguards.
Yeah, I'm the same, but on a couple of occasions, I don't know, I must have been tired or something, and I ended up getting pinched. And yeah, never get pinched in those things. It hurts.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So,
all right. Right, carry on. So, new hull, the Punisher. So, a few things about this hull right away. First, it's the same build time as the Crusader, and it is a ballistic hull, and it's 12.5 million points, which is about the usual going rate for a top hull prize. So, what makes this hull really special? It's fast, like even faster than some of the fast hulls we've seen lately. So it's got that 17 base speed. It's got very high evade and very high defense percentages built in. You can see that 50% evade, and then 60s and 40s for all the other defenses. I mean, that's really good. If the next slide I'll compare to some of the other tanky sort of hulls we've seen recently. You've got the 500 assault and siege deflection, which again is the highest we've seen except for on the Neptune, which has 600 siege and no assault. It's got ballistic bonuses, and again, next slide I'll compare those to the Crusader. My quick take on those is they're pretty similar offensively overall to the Crusader, but maybe a little better because you get the big damage bonus. And then it also has a stat which cut off of this. Sorry about that, guys. But it increases your pierce range by 35. So again, we can talk about that with the
it is on there. It's under attack, but pierce range bonus plus 35.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Thank you, Orf. So the only real weakness of this hull that I can see is that it's only got 3 armor slots, and so you can't load up as much armor points or as high bonuses as some of the other hulls. Like Heavy Cruiser and a lot of hulls have had 5 armor slots recently. So that's something to watch out for. I was playing around with some kind of tanky builds for this, and I was only getting around 14 or 15,000 armor points. But my evade was up at 80%, and all my resistances were really up in the 80s, and so it wasn't really a problem in terms of the bonuses, but it just seemed a little lower in armor points than some people like.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a fairly solid hull. I am quite worried about the 3 armor slots, to be honest. I think that, even with that massive assault deflection that it's got, UAVs are going to eat these up pretty quick because of the low amount of armor points. But again, it's, it's starting to get a bit now where people are starting to worry, where's the assault deflection and siege deflection is going to stop, really. That's quite a massive number, 500 on assault deflection, and a lot of people are finding it hard to stop, drat carriers and stuff like that, with the deflection that they've got. So that massive 500 deflection on top of the sort of like 80% mark for the defences that you're going to be getting, that's these are going to be pretty hard to kill. I know it's balanced by the amount of armor points that you can actually put on them, but is a little bit worrying in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I was kind of debating whether or not I should build a heavy cruiser tank or a draconian carrier tank, and now it's pretty clear I want to build one of these as a tank
Definitely.
instead.
Agreed.
I haven't built a new tank in a while. It's time to retire the Frostburn, I think, and run this as a new front line.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm swapping between a Neptune and a Proto Hunter, but yeah,
Well, I mean, this thing, is you've got the best of both worlds, haven't you? Really. So it's definitely going to make a really good tank for like doing stuff like the Forsaken mission and stuff like that.
yeah,
It's going to be awesome with that deflection on there. And the stats that you're going to get is going to be massive. So yeah, it's definitely going to be by far the best for tank.
yeah. All right, so let's stack that up. The Punisher and the Punisher.
To get it in there, look.
Yeah. So again, just stacking it up. I mean, all this green on the defenses, right? You got 50% evade. You can see the Crusader had 10. The heavy cruiser has nothing built in. You've got fair turn speed, unlike the really poor heavy carrier turn speed. Plenty of weight, lots of built-in armor, but again, those 3 slots limit you on how much you can add. I don't know if we've ever seen a hull that starts at 60% defenses. That's pretty crazy. And then obviously the 500 assault and siege deflection we've been talking about. And then here's the ballistic stack up against the Crusader. So you have the same range bonus, you have the same projectile speed bonus, but you have a slightly lower reload and a higher damage. And the damage is going to really help you against targets with deflection, right? Because the more damage you do per hit, the more damage that you do that is overcoming the deflection. So, if you just kind of ran numbers on DPS at Legendary, you'd probably end up about the same. But against these kind of high deflection targets we're starting to see, the Punisher is going to be ahead of the Crusader in terms of real damage output. You got the unreactive on the Punisher. You have no fire field resist like you do on the other ones, but, well, I guess that's something. You get this pierce range modifier. I guess it's probably 100% repair modifier in the Punisher since it's not listed. And, build time right in line with other top-end hulls.
Grumpy says that the unreactive stat is 0.01 as an FYI.
Okay. So that's what the carrier had that, and was the heavy cruiser down there as well?
I think the heavy cruiser is slightly less than that. It's not quite as unreactive, but
okay. Yeah. So very unreactive. Going to be hard to get shockwaves on it too, because we don't want to have a weakness now, would we?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's the Punisher. Say goodbye to the Punisher. And then we've got the Railgun. So the Railgun, 6 million points, again about average for a top-end weapon. It's very similar to the Arbalest, frankly. It's lighter, but it does less damage to start with, and then it's got similar aim and similar piercing capability. I'm going to just go right to the chart. So you can see it has the same max range as the Arbalest, and I compared it to the R15 Arbalest because it's a cheap retrofit. If you're using Arbalest, you should do it. Bonus damage is lower. That's a penetrating. Same one salvo, a little less reload, a little higher accuracy. That 80% was kind of tossed out there by Kixeye on the forums. Um, included weight plus special. That's with the nuclear accelerators on there, and then Shipyard 3. So Arbalest is heavier, although it does more damage. And then you look at the DPS against ships, the DPS per weight. So the Railgun's a little better against fleets. Against buildings, the Arbalest is better because of it's got a higher multiplier here. And then the build time per weight is pretty close. 2 Railguns is about 1 Arbalest, and it's sort of the same on weight. And then the piercing range is the same, and the pierce decay is a little less on the Railgun. So what's interesting here is I don't feel like the Railgun is that much better than the Arbalest.
Yeah, I have to agree, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially because we're talking about all this deflection, and the Railgun with its lower damage to start out with is gonna have a lot of its damage erased by deflection. The Arbalest is gonna have less of its damage erased by deflection.
Yeah, it's it's kind of odd, really.
Well, again, I was thinking about this more for my article, and you can't have it both ways, right? You can't ask Kixeye to slow down the power creep and then complain when the new weapons aren't amazingly better than the old weapons.
No, I have to agree that I agree with that 100%. And I think it's quite good in a way that it's not over the top stupid. Because I have to admit, however much I love my direct carriers, it's kind of a little bit over the top. As in, like, quite a lot over the top.
Yeah, those carriers are pretty tough to stop.
Well, for example, earlier on, I went into someone's base and I targeted a turret that was on their island, and I purposely sent my Grim forward to get shot by a scattered gun turret just to get the overload, so I didn't even have to go anywhere near his guard, and just targeted the island. Overload took all of the island out, all of his guard out the lot, and I went, oh yeah, just as well retreat now.
Yeah.
So it's like, and for example, I'd done the same to Dirty Harry's base as well. I walked into his base and I drop a extra long pinch on the island and shift my way across onto the land and take out his entire island and all of his guard out. So they're kind of with this, especially with the range of the steps that you can take as well with it.
Yeah.
You can take out most of someone's base with it if they've got it set up badly. So they're kind of a bit over the top. Whereas this, I don't think is going to be that bad. Really, it's fairly balanced in my opinion.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing though. Let's talk about pierce range. I know there was a question early on in the chat about is pierce range equal to range, and I think so. And let's talk about how piercing works, right? Because you have to you have to be in range of a target, right? And shoot at it. And then the shot goes through that hit and hits stuff behind it that's further away, right? So you extend your maximum range of your weapon if you have something that's in range. So if you get 62 range from the weapon, whether you're using arbalests or railguns, another 35 from the hull, now you're up at 97. And then there's a new special coming out in the first Forsaken mission after the raid that's going to extend that piercing range even further. So I'm starting to wonder if we're going to have to be careful about what we put on the rim of our base, because when you're talking 100 extra range or more, what if somebody shoots at something in the perimeter of your base, some resource generator or something, and pierces all the way through to your center island?
I'm not sure it's going to work like that. I think that the pierce range, I think you're going to have an additional bit on the top. So that pierce range, if the target is at your maximum range, you're going to have that extra pierce range on top.
Right.
But I think that, stuff on the outside rim of your base is going to be fairly close in, so you're only going to get the pierce range added on to where the target is, if you like.
Well, right, but when you're talking that extra pierce range is over 100 all by itself, right? 62 and 35 plus the new special. Okay.
I don't think that that's going to work, really, but at least I hope it's not going to be like that. But
I guess
who knows, really? We've seen UAVs that travel all the way around bases, and so it could turn out that it would be like that. But who knows, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but I suppose we'll just have to sort of watch this space and see what happens, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, arbalests already have this 62 piercing range, and you see it, right? You see them go through walls and stuff. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure they get that full piercing range behind whatever they hit. I guess that's the thing, right?
But does that pierce range? Does it not? For example, if you're piercing through walls, does that not add on to the sort of? Does it not add up as it pierces through? If you know what I mean. If it pierces through through a target, does that not add up? So if you say you've got 25 spaces covered by walls and it goes through that 25, you get that 25, and then at the other end, for example, you'd get your the remainder.
I don't know.
It goes through the ship.
Maybe. It's been a not important mechanic up until now, so I guess we just don't understand it that well.
No. But all we knew that with the Arbalest is it goes through walls and it kills shit. That's pretty much it, really. But,
yeah.
And obviously, like Grumpy's saying, you get 20% off the damage for each thing that it pierces through. Is the general sort of consensus that we had about it, which means that now obviously you're getting 15% off. So I don't know. It's kind of it's the same with anything. We don't really understand it that well until we sort of see it in practice, really. But it'd be nice to get a decent explanation of stuff before it sort of comes out. But
Kixeye added like a spread stat to the blueprint, which I think confused a lot of people, and I think the spread is just sort of like a width of the shot, because it's just a point, and really ships are just a point. So to get that zero width line to intersect a point is near impossible. So I think the 10 is just so that you have some chance of intersecting and hitting something. But
it's like the accuracy stat with it as well, because really it's just a line of sight weapon, isn't it? So it's the same as like the ballista is, really.
Yes, and the arbalest, but I mean, if you're using arbalest, you see some shots go where you want them, and some don't, right? Some of them do go wide, and so I figure that comes from the accuracy, and so this gun will have fewer shots go wide.
Yeah. We'll see, I suppose.
All right, have we talked this thing to death? Oh, I had nope, so. Not yet. I had one more thing. Projectile speed. Kixeye did claim that this thing was going to be really fast. The Arbalest is already really fast. We'll see if this is faster, and that might make a difference too.
Don't forget about the weight. It is roughly half the weight of an arbalest.
Yeah, and so you need all those weapon slots on the new Punisher, I think, if you want to use this as well.
Yeah.
I was talking about recommendations and thinking about it, and again, a sneak preview of the new article that I was going to write on this is I put the railgun as a yellow and the hull as a green, and it's the first time in a long time that I can remember that I like the weapon not so much, not nearly as much as the hull.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, really.
Yeah.
But then we've said it before, looking at the stats, that weapon's not going to be as fantastic as what we've, and then we've seen it in action and we've gone, well, we might be a bit wrong about that. But so, you never know.
Right. Well, just a month ago, Kixeye went through this weapon rebalance, and they collapsed a lot of the DPS spread of these weapons, right? A lot of them are about the same in DPS per H-ton. So it's actually, I think, a really good thing that they didn't fix it and then all of a sudden break it again the next month by releasing a new overpowered weapon.
Yeah, agreed. And it is kind of starting to get a bit of a balance now, which is always good.
Yeah.
You had hulls that were stupidly strong, and now it's sort of leveling itself out. It's giving people a chance to sort of catch up with bases as well. So with their base guards against attacking fleets, kind of a bit. So yeah, it's good, and I think it's been long overdue, really.
Yeah. I maybe we just need to get used to this. That weapons are going to be about as powerful as other weapons, and they might give you more tactical choices, right? I mean, I threw the crossbow on here. The crossbow has got similar damage per weight as these other two weapons, which are much more widely used. And they fixed the build time on the crossbow too, so it's usable, it's buildable.
Yeah, because wasn't it in the crossbow 3 like 6 days, wasn't it?
It used to be
one.
6
days. It was stupid.
Yeah. But now I think
one thing I don't like that they've done about the crossbow, because I was quite looking forward to them dropping the build time of it and upping the damage, but keeping it so that you have to be stood still to shoot it. I would have thought that then it would have been a really, really good choice for us, a prep weapon, but
no such luck.
No, unfortunately.
All right, now let's move on. So, prize suggestions. I put what I thought were the highlights here on the various tiers. So there's more prizes than these available, but these are the ones I like. On tier 1, I like the battle cruiser if you don't have it yet, and I like the D1X because it comes in handy for throwing some light explosive protection. Maybe you have some mastodons that keep getting daisy cuttered. Tier 2, DU Shells 3 is down in Tier 2. If you're using ballistic weapons for your base turrets, that's pretty much your default special. And then all the D3 armors, if you don't have them, are good to pick up. Tier 3 nuclear accelerators, they are a must-have if you're using ballistics. So if you don't have them yet and you want to build ballistics with some of these new prizes, better get it. Siege Missile Z is usable. The latest generation of long-range missiles, the blades, your Harriers are better, but Siege Z is not bad. And then Compound Panels E is another good one I use on a lot of turrets. So that's Tier 3. Tier 4 is where it got really interesting because, I think a lot of time lately the prize list has been kind of crappy besides the top prizes. And here, I think there's 6 solid prizes that players want, and you can only pick 2.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's a tough mix, really.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to pick the Neptune up because I missed out on the Neptune. Luckily, I have everything else that's in there, so I'm going to be pretty good. But
Yeah.
I think for me, if you haven't got the Harrier, you've got to get the Harrier. If you haven't got
Agreed.
the APOC, you've got to get the APOC. Really, would be my 2 choices if I had to pick anything out of those. If I
I
didn't
think
have
you're
any
right.
of them, those are the 2 that I would pick, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
But yeah, I mean, because Harrier all rounds a brilliant missile,
Yeah.
brilliant in base defense, brilliant in base hitting, brilliant for doing chores. The APOC's obviously pretty much sort of needed in your base defense, really, so as well. The Neptune, you can kind of do without, especially if you get the new hull.
Yep.
Siege Battery 3 is nice, but with the siege and assault deflections that you've got now, not so sort of needed as it was when it first came out.
It stacks up so nice with siege deflection, though.
It does, very true, but
My Neptune with Siege Battery 3 and an Aegis that just laughs at like so much.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a D5E's really nice, but it's not, the end of the world if you haven't got it.
Yeah,
Especially with,
it's been in the elite tier, the Forsaken mission for a while, and I'm wondering if this is a sign it might get rotated out, though.
could do. Maybe it might go into 3 though. You never know.
True. Kixeye's been known to screw us like that. Yeah. Yeah, could go that way. And
Yeah.
then we didn't talk much about the DR cannon. So uh, the Crusader build that I had, and I think a lot of people used. Um, I put 4 Arbalest and one of these DR cannons on each of my Crusaders, and it just the 2 of those work really well together because the Arbalest and now the Railguns just are not as good at hitting moving targets, and back then Reavers were the big deal, and Reavers were moving really quick. And Arbalest did very poorly against the Reavers unless you had this DR cannon. You shoot the Reavers to slow them down, and then your Arbalests take them out. So if you do plan on getting railguns and doing some kind of Punisher railgun or even Punisher Arbalest build, I think you're going to want to throw one of these DR cannons on each of your ships as well.
Yeah, it's definitely worth putting just one on is fine.
Yep.
The stacks on the DR cannon are awesome. They work really quickly at slowing things down, so they're a lot better than disruptor missiles.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth just putting one on for the weight of it and for the power of it, really.
Yep.
And like Larry says, it works so well with Arbalest, and the new railgun as well. It's going to work really well with, because at the end of the day, things move a lot quicker now in game.
Yeah, what I worry about those, the unreactive, right? They're going to be shedding that disruption pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know though, because that DR cannon fires pretty quick, so maybe you'll get a little bit to stick.
Yeah.
Maybe. Huh. Yeah. Again, another one you might have to wait and see, but again, if you're really planning on doing those ballistics, I would make sure you have one of these DR cannons to go with.
Yeah.
All right. Also in Tier 4, and I didn't put it on here, and I just want to see if any of you guys think differently, is the Scrambler cannon. I haven't seen much of a use for that one.
I don't like it.
Yeah, okay.
No. I think it's rubbish, to be fair.
All right. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
And then, we talked about the top prizes already, and then you got these same limited components that we've had. Didn't have them last raid, but we got them this raid, or had them the raid before that. So D6A and hydraulic resistors I really like. Agility I kind of like, except it takes a long time. Fallout, not so much. Cobras, people like them on those Tiger Sharks. And then Gales are good if you need anti-mortar. Which is
Just gonna put this out there for people who don't know. 5 Gales across the fleet, rank over 16 is enough Gales on your fleet to take down all of the mortars in an 85.
good to know. Is that Gale 1s or Gale 3s or
Gale
what?
2s.
Gale 2s, okay.
So that's all you need. But obviously Gale 3s are better. So.
Well,
But if you've got extra points and you can get some Gales, I'd recommend on topping yourself out on the 2s and 3s. Hydraulic resistors, really good, especially for those of you that may be struggling possibly with your turn speed on your heavy cruisers. If you use those,
yep.
Stick that on. You can add thrusters on to get some good turn speed out of your heavy cruisers, because they don't turn for shit, I think is probably the best way to put it.
Yes.
That concussive defense.
Yeah. Compound armor D6A, I like it a lot.
Yep.
So yeah, if you can get some of that as well, that's pretty good. Fallout armor 4, I wouldn't even touch with the barge pile, really. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Like Harry said, agility's good, but it's long build time.
Yeah.
2.5 days. It just makes me sad every time I want to put one on a boat. It's like, come on, help us a little bit.
Well, I feel the same way about the Cobras, right? It's really cool. You got these Cobras, and you can load them up Tiger Sharks and fire from underwater, but those are 2 days each, almost.
Yep.
I think they need to be 2 days each, though, to be fair. With the amount of damage that they can put out, especially on the Tiger Shark. If you put 10 on Tiger Shark, you can wipe an entire fleet out in one hit. So.
Yeah. I've got a 30-day Phantom Tiger Shark somewhere in my build queue. We'll see if I ever do it.
Yeah. But it is fun. It's fun when people think that you haven't got a base guard in and they come rushing through your base, and then you go, haha, bang, see you later.
Oh, God. Nasty.
It's always amusing.
I'm sure. Yeah. And then no word of a token store. We haven't seen that for a while, so I wouldn't expect it, but I miss it. I liked having a token store in raids.
I want tokens. I miss tokens.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we have? Scrubs. Tell you what, we got 2 questions from chat. We got one question asking about whether the convoys are going to be level locked, and Kixeye hasn't said, so we don't know. Sorry. And then we've got. Let me just read this one.
Question, yeah.
Yeah. So, Steve, who posted that one?
Ooh, I can't say that was the beginning of the show. Sorry.
All right. Anyway, someone.
Just looking at chat, and someone's written in there, it is confirmed that there is a token.
There is a token store.
Yeah, they added tokens 2 hours ago.
Hooray!
Oh, it was Cube Drafter.
Cube Drafter, okay. Has a concern about the ever-increasing deflection on new raid prizes and how one is now able to make a ship that is both tanky and puts out good DPS simultaneously. Agreed. Wouldn't you say, Irf? I mean, there's a lot of ships now that are hard to kill. You know, these ships with the deflections in the hundreds are hard to kill. Heavy cruisers, Drat carriers, and now these Punishers. They're all going to be hard to kill.
There's some that are hard to scratch the paint.
Yeah, Drat carriers are easy to kill.
Do share, please. What do you kill them with, Irf?
With a Drat carrier.
Well, you know, and actually that's where I was going with what I was saying is you know, the best thing I've seen for these is to fight fire with fire.
To be honest, right,
Drat carriers against Drat carriers.
The best idea that you can have, right, is to set your guard up. Obviously, you need to have defense against a lot of different things, right? So, you know, whereas the Death Scythe, for instance, may not be a fantastic weapon in base hitting because, you know, it moves quite slowly and stuff like that. And by the time you've added all of the other specials that you require to hit bases with it, you know, you haven't got any room to put, I don't know, for example, combustion system on it so that it moves a bit quicker. You know, that dot damage that you get from those things is absolutely amazing at wiping fleets out.
Believe it. I've been kind of thinking about
all of that deflection that you get and all those massive stats that you can get in defense, especially against explosives and missiles. You know, and the fact that you get the 98 range as well, not telling anybody how at all to stop Drat carriers or rhinos really easily, but you look into that.
Yeah, I've been again, you know, other priorities, but yeah, I've been thinking Death Scythe might be a really nice thing to use in my base. Explosive System 4, keep that new special in mind as well if you
Agreed.
Death Scythe. But yeah, I mean, it's tough, and you really want these new generation hulls with good deflection. You know, I've been getting by for a while on my Neptune and Proto Hunter, which have, you know, the 600 siege on the Neptune and a measly, I think it's 60 or 80 on the Proto Hunter, and even that small amount on the Proto Hunter is I find it really useful. And I love my Proto Hunter spotter for my rhinos, but yeah, it's tough if you're not keeping up with these top raid hulls because this last batch of draconian hulls has been really hard to kill. So there.
Yeah.
And bypass does not work on deflection. just in case you were wondering that.
But dot damage really hurts. Just saying.
What was that? The corrosive?
Yeah.
Oh, the dot. Yeah, corrosive damage. Yes. Yep. All right. I'll go to the screw ups and breakthroughs, and if there's more questions that come up in chat, I'm sure Steve will pass them along.
It's pretty quiet today. Get them in now, guys, before we wrap this up.
All right. So this week's screw ups. The biggest screw up is with the release yesterday. The status bar from the Mega Hull was apparently in a bunch of other targets, campaigns, and people were all over the forums complaining they were getting screwed up by this new status bar. So it shouldn't have been too hard to catch. Whoops. And then I added a player screw up. Okay. I mean, people started asking for the prize list like last week, and it's just getting a little ridiculous. So I'm calling this one a player screw up. Kixeye's been, for the last few raids now, they've been releasing the prize list, and and info on the new hulls and stuff after the Tuesday update. So that's when I'd start expecting it. And
I think a lot of the problem was that maybe because the picture of the hull and the weapon were released so early, a lot of people were sort of all excited about it and were really wanting to know the stats of it. So that's kind of played into everybody sort of moaning, where's the stats? I want the stats to know how good my new cool ship is that I already know what it looks like. So
yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, you got to be careful because that implies that the proper solution is the Doom Rooster solution, right? Giving out information too early, people are getting screwed up. Stop giving it out.
yeah. So
I hereby deem that the Doom Rooster solution. I mean, I'm gonna say a lot of people bust on Doom Rooster for stuff that's not his fault. But that sort of that kind of decision, I think I'm gonna pin that one on him. So.
Right, I want to add one to this, right? And I know
Please do.
It's going to sound, weird for a few people maybe, but I think that it has to be said, right? Kixeye obviously have upset a lot of people in the community, and someone from the communities, worked very hard with the community in the past, has now had enough and has quit. And I think that was a big screw up on Kixeye's part. And I think Price, it's a shame to have seen you go, mate. You've done a lot for the community, and I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for everybody. I know, obviously, a lot of people see us rival shows and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, we all do it for the benefit of the community. So I just want to say sorry to see you go, mate, and thanks for all you've done in the past.
I totally agree with that, Irf. I think Price is a class act, and I am also quite sorry to see him go. And I think he'll keep playing, but yeah, his heart's not in the show anymore, and it's too bad that he's not doing it anymore. So yeah, and it is Kixeye's loss that because not to toot our own horns as people who come out and do things for the community, but I think people like Price, who do stuff like the Battle Vortex show and this show, do a great service to Kixeye, because when we help players out, they're more likely to stick with the game. And when Kixeye loses people like Price, they are the losers.
Exactly. Whenever you lose the communicators, the people that bridge the gaps in the information, the techniques, and the procedures that make this playable and enjoyable, we all suffer and we all lose. So I want to go ahead and continue on with that and say thanks, Price. You did a lot for the community. Sucks you're gone. Sorry.
All right. And with that, do you have any other scripts, gentlemen?
Well, nope. Steve's a screw up.
Only one picture of the hot chick this week?
Yeah, we mentioned that. I'll try and compensate next week. Sorry about that, guys. More hot chicks next week, I promise. So,
can I quickly say, if anybody wants to reach out and be on the community show on Fridays, go ahead and throw out on the Alliance Crib. I'll start a post tomorrow and try to sign up early for that one. I didn't get it off last week. Hopefully we'll try to get one on this Friday.
Yeah. So for this week's breakthrough, I put the raid prizes out there. We talked about previously in the show about how the Railgun was, a decent weapon, but not like a big, giant, overpowered, awesome, amazing weapon that you have to get that's going to make everything else obsolete. So that's good. The Punisher is going to be hard to kill, but it's going to be hard to kill in the same vein as some of these other hulls that we're seeing are hard to kill. And offensively, it's still in the same neighborhood as other hulls that we've seen. So I think the new prizes are, I'm going to call them appropriately powered, and that's good.
Appropriately powered, fairly balanced.
Yeah, fairly balanced. That's a better description.
Yeah.
And then also again we talked about it earlier, but there's a lot of other good stuff in the raid prizes. So I think this is going to be a raid that you don't want to skip, because there's decent stuff to get.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think a lot of it is really good stuff, and it's gonna be beneficial to a lot of people. I think there's quite a wide spectrum of stuff that's beneficial to a lot of people in a lot of different sort of player groups, if you like, right down from sort of the lower end to the higher end, really. So, I think it's good. We haven't really seen a raid which has been sort of catered well to all recently, and I think that this has done quite a good job of doing that, really.
Yeah, and I think also as advice, if you're feeling a bit maybe overwhelmed by the prize list and you don't know what to get, you just gotta plan your next build, plan your next 2 builds. That's as far out as you should ever plan anyway in this game, but look at what's going to help you most in the near term and get it. If you don't think you're going to be building it soon, then try and look for something else that you think you would want to build soon. So keep that in mind.
And as always, if you ever need any help with anything, or you wish for any advice at all, you can always contact us on the BPC page. Drop us a message and we'll get back to you and help you out as much as we can.
Yep. I have most of my article written on the raid. I talked about and showed a lot of the stuff that's going to be in the article tonight, but I know some of you like it when I go a little more in depth, so that'll be released or published or whatever real soon this evening. So look to the blog, bpprof.blogspot.com. Put that out there without Earth even prompting me tonight. So
it's terrible.
That's about all I got.
Yeah.
Come on, Earth. What else you got?
What else have I got? Not a lot.
Anything else in chat?
That's what I was going to have a look at.
It's pretty quiet. Not very much tonight.
Somebody said after the Tuesday update they put combustion trigger on the 85 torp towers.
Yeah, I saw that. Anybody seen them explode?
I haven't.
Clay Sears says, "Can we just rim your base and leave a PM if we need help, Earth?" Yes, but it might get you flat. The answer.
You'll get attention, but not in the way you want.
It will get you flat. But, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Call it an evening.
I think that's probably a good idea. So, like Steve said, he's going to make a post on the Alliance Squib tomorrow about the Friday show. So if you want to get involved in that, make sure you comment or message one of us, or in fact the BPC page. So yeah, do that. It's Facebook.com/the Battle Pirate Squib. There we go.
The flat Earth theory. I like that.
Yeah.
Nice one, Hotskate.
And
fun game tonight.
Yeah. So I think that's about us, really. So thank you very much for coming out. Thank you very much, guys, for turning up on the panel. Thank you for doing the slides, Larry, as usual. Very nice. Although we do need some more hot checks next time.
All right, more hot chicks.
And Peter Risk says, next time don't forget there are female viewers too. So yeah.
Not just guys.
No.
Folks.
So
Mates.
I think you best put some bloke in there or something. I don't know. Right. So yeah, thanks for coming out, and we will catch you all next time.
All right. Good night.
Bye, guys.